Greetings, viewers, and welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring Dawn of War 2 Retribution. Red-Rupee here, calling the shots for you as always tonight, and we are looking in upon the abandoned desert marketplace of Desert Showdown, and possibly the coolest skybox in the game. We've got a 2-on-2 match tonight, and we've got that 1-on-1 tournament coming up later this weekend, so hopefully you guys are ready for that. I've also got an interview with Kaldoot coming up, so if you've got any questions for Kaldoot concerning the Elite mod, hop over to my Facebook page or my Twitter feed, shoot those my way, and I'll see if I can work them in. My Twitter and Facebook, obviously, also just a good way to get in contact with me in general. I post updates over there, other news about Relic games, and just other fun things along those lines, so be sure to stop by, follow, and like those pages, and have fun with social media. Anyways, let's take a look at our players. On the blue team, we've got Kaldoot playing the Sorcerer for the Eldar faction, and then DoW2 caster extraordinaire Maestro Cretella as his favorite duplicitous Chaos Sorcerer. Then on the opposing red team, we had him on a few episodes ago, Mr. Shas'el as his Lord General once again, and his ally Winkel as the Grey Knight's Brocap. We're going to get this game started. Desert Showdown, a pretty fun 2-on-2 map. You've got this whole center area, this whole center battlefield cut off by these walls and these kind of choke point doorways, so it can be very difficult to get in and out of there if those get locked down. You have the two VPs over on this side, natural power on the far sides. This is definitely a 2-on-2 map that tends to start with two separate engagements, both sides pressuring each other's power, and then lead into the center with a big old battle in the end, as we tend to see on those other contested VP maps. You also have these two kind of way extended secondary power nodes. There's only really one power on this map that's really natural for either team, so it's not like on Calderas Refinery where you have two gens farms right next to each other. It tends to be a longer tech race in this map, so long as neither side can really get a solid lock on their contested power farms. But we'll see how this plays out. Should be an interesting match. 4 races, always fun to see in a 2-on-2. We can see Mr. Maestro Cretella going straight for the Chaos Sorcerer shenanigans. Looks like Winkel kind of saw that one coming, was pulling himself back. Sorcerer just go ahead and consumes himself a heretic, gets that back going, and in the meantime, got a big melee brawl happening down here with Shas'el and Kaldoot. Sentinel's just trying to get its ground pound up so it can help deal with these Banshees, but those Banshees managed to force off an infantry squad already. Now the Lord General trying to vie for time. As the stomp comes in, Farseer in a lot of trouble. They're going to be taking a lot of focus fire. She needs to retreat right away. Goes around the corner, but doesn't quite get out of range of that secondary Guardsman squad. Dire Avengers aren't going to be able to cap this secondary contested VP, though, for the meantime. And in the opening segments of this game, it looks like the red team has decidedly won the initial map push. Sarge up on the Inquisitorial Stormtroopers, giving them detection and a little extra firepower that's going to be sorely needed against Cretella's usual Sorcerer antics. Another big Doom Bolt coming in. Cretella, really a huge fan of all the trickery that the Sorcerer can do. You'll see him probably be getting a lot of the more intricate war gears and things like that. Look at all the Doom Bolts he's dropping. He hasn't managed to push Winkel off the field, but with just a squad of heretics and a Sorcerer, he's been doing crazy damage, really dropping those Doom Bolts all over the place. When you can't see the Sorcerer, it's really a lot harder to predict when those Doom Bolts are coming. Normally when you can see him, you'll spot his energy dip just before he does it, and you can at least try to dodge a little bit out of the way. But when he is cloaked, they just come out of the shadows and right into your face. Already, you can see Maestro Cretella not even going for a typical Chaos Space Marine squad. Oh my gosh, and it looks like some sort of crazy laser light show with the Farseer DJing up here as she has a crossfire of guardsmen on either side. Stormtroopers on the opposing side blasting away at her inside of that central civilian structure right there. Sentinel falling back, trying once again to make sure this Guardian Weapons team can't get set up anywhere. That Sentinel's been in prime positioning a couple times now, preventing that Shuriken Cannon from really having any impact at all so far. Unfortunately, Kaldoot recognized the opportune time right here. As soon as that Sentinel dropped the stomp to disrupt that Guardian's Weapons team. Ooh, some heavy friendly fire right there, taking out those pair of Banshees. But as soon as that Sentinel stopped, Kaldoot recognized that's the time to move in, rush those Banshees right in, and put the pressure on. Unfortunately, that's going to look like a down to gen farm if Shas'el is not careful. Cretella actually leaving his own gen farm pretty well exposed. 2 strike squads actually over here for Winkel, not a common sight. Be interesting to see, maybe he chooses to go range with one of those and melee with the other. Haven't often seen a dual strike squad build from Grey Knights, so right now Sentinel taking a lot of focus fire from that Shuriken cannon, but going to be able to easily flank with this second walkway over here. Catechins on the field for Mr. Shas'el. Gonna be very handy indeed. Already getting their demolition men, so hopefully we'll see some good IEDs on the field. You can see after that initial mistake, not using that Sentinel stop early. Really excellent Doom Bolt right there, but not actually taking anything out. Oh, and we do have the Sergeant coming on the field for the Lord General, so we'll probably be seeing those nice mollifying med packs for those poor injured Catechin Devils. Taking a Doom Bolt, or a set of Doom Bolts rather, to the face. Do have a Rhino on the field, and nice use of Worship along with that Chaos Havoc squad. This is a pretty typical build I've been seeing with the Chaos Sorcerer recently. You'll see Worship used in conjunction with the Havocs, and then whatever gets suppressed instantly gets hit in the face with a full-powered Doom Bolt. Of course, this Rhino, if there's one thing it's good for, it's dealing with these maps that have these nice choke points that Havocs and Devastators, Shurikens can take advantage of and lock down large piles of troops. Instead of getting suppressed, you can just hop right inside your Rhino, relocate, and hit from the flanks. Heretics trying to get some power over here. They did manage to break the node and get the decap. I'd say the red team's probably, if they hadn't captured this, they would be behind on power. But they managed to just go ahead and take Mr. Cretella's natural power farm back there. Big Doom Ball coming down again. That Rhino, of course, only with the heavy infantry armor that it starts with, taking a lot of damage from that Doom Bolt, I believe explosive damage. Might be plasma damage, I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to double check. I'm sure Cretella knows, I'll have to ask him. He fires about 3,000 Doom Bolts per game, so I'm sure he knows what kind of damage it does. So far, the red team have been decapping power all over the place for the blues, but not really destroying any of it. In the meantime, as I say that, Banshees are down there doing some destruction of their own Shuriken cannon, managing to suppress the majority of Shas'el's army right here. Shas'el normally going for an infantry-based army from what I've seen of him play. Tends to just go for that big pile of Imperial Guard infantry and just kind of blob that around with the Lord General. Use all those nasty Lord General buffs and just make them a nasty force to be reckoned with. Noise Marines coming in, locking down some strike squads. I'm not sure those alone will be enough to deal with everything that's on the field. That Havoc is a bit too far back to be of too much use. Brocap is going to start pounding away at those Noise Marines. Right now, nice use of the Spirit Stones there, keeping that injured Guardian Weapons team on the field. Or, I mean, not on the field, but it was very low. Probably would have gone down if those hadn't been used. Everyone's heading into Tier 2 except for Mr. Cretella, who has the opportunity, just hasn't hit the button yet. I'm sure he'll be hitting that soon. But for the time being, he is very concerned with the state of his power farm, trying to take down that Brother Captain and put some pressure on this Rhino. Rhino's already expected to get that last cannon turret, but the Rhino goes down. It was trying to path around, but there were just too many heretics, and it was in a tight position. Oh, wow. Looks like everything just sitting in a pile. I don't even think those heretics could actually melee there, but they actually shot down the final member of that Stormtrooper squad, I think. Banshees finding themselves once again stunned and in a bad position. Grenade going down right on top of that Sentinel does big damage. A pair of grenades will actually almost take out the Sentinel outright on its own. Guardians couldn't quite focus that thing down on its own. There is a webway up, but the Catechins have spotted it. We saw webways used to amazing effect, and they can be done even more so, I feel like, in team games. Cretella managing to steal the natural VP right out from under Winkel's nose. Nice Doom Bolts going down once again, constantly dropping those. Shas'el says, typical. I'm not even sure what to. I don't even see anything happening over here. Perhaps at the webway? I don't even know. But anyways, Flak Jacket coming up, gonna give the Lord General the incoming ability, which Reduces range damage and I think prevents knockdown. I'm not sure. I think it might just be reduces the range damage. But a nice knockback, all reliable, keeping that Shuriken weapons team from getting set up, but it can't quite approach those Banshees now fully upgraded with their Aspect and Exarch upgrades. Smoke Bomb going down for the Catachin Devils, gonna fall into the safety of that smoke, get themselves a nice soothing med pack there, and hang out in the cover of that smoke barrage for the time being. They do not have enough, however, for their explosive shot, but I think those Banshees may be a bit outmatched. Too much firepower along with at least a little bit of that Catachin melee. Gonna be able to focus down those Banshees. Meanwhile, up top, we've got Cretella bringing out a Dreadnought, and we have once again the Rhino back on the field, upgraded with its las cannon turret, also getting upgraded with its reinforced armor. We'll give it some vehicle armor. Sentinel in a lot of trouble trying to get the decap, realizes it can't quite do it, and just narrowly escapes with its life against those Wraith Guard, which are currently on the field. And you can see we have all the worship happening over here. Cretella over here lying secretly in wait with his sneaky Sorcerer worship. Wraith Guard gonna start blasting away at this power farm, and it looks like Shas'el doesn't really have an answer to that for the time being. He needs to get something out here outside of this kind of infantry blob, because the combination of the melee support and these two heavy range squads over there are really gonna obliterate his current army composition. He can't really approach either of these with the help of that Farseer and Banshees, and the Shuriken Cannon and Wraith Guard combination pretty much locked down his entire army. Having a bit of a power farm trade as Winkel's up over here smashing Cretella. We have Kaldoot down here smashing Shas'el. Cretella pretty much locked down over here, helping out his ally Kaldoot. Once it gets to the late game portion of the match, you'll see with those two VPs very close together on the western portion of the map there, it comes down to really who can hold that position. Siege Dreadnought on the field. It'll be interesting to see that. I don't often see the las cannon Rhino, but I feel like if it can stay on the field here shortly, it will be able to hold out against this. A few big missiles going into its rear armor though, and Banshees mercilessly pursuing it right into its base. It stops to unload. It needs to keep moving though. It is going to be taking some rear armor hits. They'll probably be, no, they aren't going to be able to focus the Banshees down, and the Rhino gets obliterated. I thought I saw it get upgraded with the power, with its vehicle armor, but I don't think it did. The way those Banshees just ate through that thing, it was more than just the Exarch taking hits off of that Rhino. That's a second Rhino to go down. We've been seeing that all too often. I feel like those Rhinos are often a bit too short-lived. Haven't really gotten to see them used very effectively yet. A nice combination of Wraith Guards and grenades going down. Big hit right there. Taking down tons of Guardsmen. At least half a dozen Guardsmen getting obliterated by Wraith Cannons and a Guardian Grenade. Actually, looks like all that survived, yeah, it was 8 Guardsmen that went down. All that survived was that lone Sergeant to tell the tale. Sentinel under a lot of pressure right now, taking combined fire from the Dire Avengers and that Farseer. Can't quite position correctly. Farseer's going in for the kill. Will it be able to get the final shot before she goes down? She does. Hits it right in the ankle and it falls over. Farseer probably not going to get out herself though, but a Farseer trade for a Sentinel. Probably a reasonable trade, especially in a team game when hopefully Cretella will be able to get over here and pick up that Farseer in return. Nice improvised explosive over here on the natural VP of Mr. Kaldoot. Kaldoot, however, sitting on a giant pile of resources, needs to head into Tier 3, floating like a madman. And right now, Winkel's just kind of struggling to keep his own VP in his hands. All the points are decapped right now. Taking a look at the VPs for the first time so far, we can see the red team does have a significant advantage right now. 245 to 381 in favor of the Reds. Lord General getting upgraded with the grenade launcher right now. Going to give this infantry blob a lot more mobility. And in combination of the Ogrins, move, and incoming is going to really allow them to tank some damage. And they're just heading headlong into this Eldar blob. I'm not sure that's the best way to go about it, but it looks like it may just work. Smoke bomb going down. Banshee's putting a lot of pressure on the Lord General. Ogrins, however, smashing that Guardian Weapons team. I'm actually surprised it got out of there. Should have retreated a little sooner, but those Ogrins need to focus down these Wraith Guard. He's just letting them run away from the engagement, and that may well have lost him his hero. It looks like the Lord General is going to escape. Banshees redirect, trying to intercept these Ogrins on the retreat path, and those Ogrins realize they too are in a terrible situation. Banshees actually don't look like they're going to snag a model, but those Ogrins are very beat up. They're going to have to hang out at their base for the time being and heal for a little while. Even a med pack from the Lord General doesn't do too much to the health pools of the Ogrins. Chaos Dreadnought still on the field. Looks like Winkel's going to respond with a walker of his own. Surprising to not see more vehicle play on this side of the map, though. Typically, you'll see the Chimera from Imperial Guard and the Wraith Lord from Eldar, but Kaldoot going straight for Tier 3, and with the resources that are stockpiled up, I mean, I would be very surprised to not see the Avatar coming out here next. Another Warp Gate going up on the eastern side of the map so he can support his ally a little bit, and more power getting obliterated for the red team. Red team stuck in Tier 2. Maestro Cretella probably not far from Tier 3 himself. Another grenade going down right there. Hits a few guardsmen, not a direct hit, but manages to knock them down, at least slow them down for the time being. Grey Knight Dreadnought is on the field, but the entirety of the Grey Knight army getting suppressed right there. Unfortunately, that was a bad timing for the Mark of Tzeentch. We'll give them the Las Cannon to help deal with this Grey Knight Dreadnought, but there's not much there to help support it. Heretics taking a lot of damage. Las Cannon and the Tzeentch Dreadnought doing a lot of damage, but you can see the Bro Cap does have his teleporter pack. Gets in on that squad, knocks out the Las Cannon, and this Tzeentch Dread's going to be in a lot of trouble. Heretics do manage to take out, yes, with a Doom Blast. You can see the bits of the fallen Heretic going down right there. Noise Marines still trying to put some pressure on this Grey Knight Dreadnought, but the Chaos one has fallen. I'm surprised the Brother Captain just doesn't go in and take out those Noise Marines. Yeah, there he goes. Realizes that that's the best course of action. However, Winkel is without a Stormtrooper squad to deal with. Oh my gosh, that would have been a perfect opportunity to blow up some Banshees. Unfortunately, I guess he was just a little hesitant. Oh, they're coming back, walking right over that explosive. He needs to blow it. Loses 2 Ogrins, however, to Wraith Guards, and then just lets that explosive device sit. Oh, and then drops it there on the Farseer. Always pretty much a waste to do that. Triple cap for the red team, however. Still managing to bleed off some more VPs from the blues, who I feel like are overall in a better position right now. The Cretella did lose his Dreadnought, which is going to be a bad situation until he can deal with that Grey Knight one. But honestly, he can head into Tier 3 and probably get himself a Predator or something and really put the pressure on Winkel. Winkel has next to no AV with those 2 strike squads. He does have, yes, he does have dual sight cannons, which is an interesting choice. I feel like if you're going for ranged firepower, he should have just gotten himself the Purgation squad. But anyways, let's take it. Oh my gosh, this Sorcerer is indeed equipped with all kinds of crazy stuff. He's got his Rod of Warfire, he's got his Robes of Torment, he's got his Icons of Tzeentch, all potential battle turners right there, depending on how they're used. So hopefully we'll get to see a little more Sorcerer action. I've been kind of focusing back and forth, not really seeing what too much Cretella's been getting into. Once again, another Gen Bash. Man, there have been tons of generators going down throughout the entirety of this game. And as we're getting into this kind of late game position, you can see Cretella's over here supporting the Avatar. It looks like blue team's going to try to lock down the western portion of the map. The only problem with that situation for the blue team, of course, is that that leaves their natural power exposed to the wrath of the Grey Knights. You can see Shas'el acknowledging the presence of the Avatar and pretty much the dismal aspect that he is not in Tier 3 himself. Winkel, however, his ally, heading into Tier 3. Maestro Cretella still hanging out in Tier 2. Of course, Chaos Tier 2 very powerful, so that not necessarily a bad decision. A flank coming in. He needs to leave that Lord General in there to draw fire. But right now there's an Avatar coming in with a flank, and if there's one thing you don't want to get flanked by, it's an Avatar with a nice Wailing Doom. And here it goes! Looks like it could be a big hit, but nice use at the last possible second. Activating move from the Lord General, allowing those infantry to get out of the way and then escape from the Banshees as well. Ogrins have really not been in a good position ever, I feel like, throughout these engagements. Moving in on the Wraith Guard, but they're not going to be able to deal with both the Howling Banshees and the Farseer. Ooh, Farseer upgraded with the armor of the Saurian, which is grants the very powerful time field ability. 2-0 capsule. Red team still managing to hold on to VPs here. Not sure what exactly this siege... Oh, those aren't siege. Those are the Plague Marines. And, oh, actually, we missed it, but it looks like that Grey Knight Dreadnought went down. I guess that's what they're doing up here. There's a carcass right there. That's probably it. That's not where the Siege Dreadnought went down, I don't believe, so. Time field getting activated over here, trying to get that Avatar in position to do a little more hurt. Might send it right into the base for a Wailing Doom, but it looks like he's going to decide to pull that back. 152 to 235, and the blue team looks like they're making a comeback. Brocap trying to get a capture in over here, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He retreats, but will it be quick enough to get away from the Banshees and Farseer? I think he just may be. He's got 80 HP, and it looks like the Farseer is just a split second too slow to get those last couple swings in. A harrowing escape for the brother captain. Winkel just hasn't quite been able to get out on the field, it seems like. He had his Dreadnought out here, but it fell to a lot of combined arms of anti-vehicle. Looks like there's Plague Marines, there's Noise Marines, there's a Siege Havoc squad, so lots of stuff that would have been capable of taking down that Dreadnought. A shame we missed that battle, however. Banshees finding themselves under a lot of fire, trying desperately to bring down those Ogrins. Ogrins retreated there. I think they probably could have just stayed in and it really helped take out those Wraith Guard, but the Catechins will be able to deal with them pretty easily. Lord General, however, taking lots of fire from that Farseer. Farseer also getting upgraded with a Singing Spear, going to be giving her some heavy melee. And Maestro Cretella heading into Tier 3. Kaldoot looks like saving up tons of resources once again. Really, I think, considering the current compositions, Kaldoot should probably just get himself a D-Cannon. Nice grenade going down here, combined with suppression. Big hit, knocking down tons of guardsmen once again. Sacrificing a guardsman squad to get the spotters down for the rocket run. Looks like a Dire Avenger squad may go down. It does indeed. Trading Dire Avengers for a guardsman squad, probably not the greatest choice. I mean, he probably could have executed that better. If he'd saved the guardsman squad, that probably wouldn't have been too bad a use of the rocket run. He does have a new Kasserkin squad coming in to replace it, but always would have been useful to keep that squad on the field. Looks like we've got the Tome of Subjugation now instead of the Mark of Siege for the Chaos Sorcerer. Took control of that strike squad, forced off at least another one, and now using that worship once again to close in with those Chaos Heretics upgraded with their aspiring champions. Going to be doing lots of damage to that strike squad upgraded with a Purgation. Meanwhile, down on the bottom, the VPs are evening out. Another webway goes down, and it looks like Shas'el is having a bit of trouble approaching this Eldar nightmare right here. A good combination of heavy range firepower, nice use of time field, and again, I feel like this is kind of why Kaldoot should get himself a D-Cannon. He has the necessary tools to keep those Ogrins away. He's got the Avatar, Shees, and the Farseer herself. He could just get a D-Cannon, set it back right here, and really just be able to blast away at any kind of infantry blob that approaches. Here comes another big Wailing Doom, and it hits, connects very nicely with the Catechins, blows all kinds of infantry all over the place, only takes out a single model. Very fortunate for Shas'el, but was enough to at least rout him and force him off the map for the time being. Brother Captain teleporting in once again on the Chaos Havocs. Not really sure why he's stressing taking those out so much. There's not too much on the field. Oh my goodness. Looks like there was an Imperial Abyss down here, and it probably, yes, looks like it took out a strike squad. Or something along those lines. Action just happening on all sides of this map. Hard to keep up with it in 2-on-2s. Even more ridiculous in 3-on-3s. Nice flanking maneuver moving in on this Guardian Weapons team. Grenade goes down, misses horribly, and allows those guardsmen to get in on the Guardian Weapons team. Unfortunately, Dire Avenger's gonna come in with their Warlock and hack up those guardsmen pretty handily. Noise Marines now moving in from Cretella, trying to make sure these VPs stay in their favor. 147 to 85, and it's not looking good at all for the blue team. Or sorry, not looking good at all for the red team. The blue team, however, looking very good for the time being. Winkel struggling to stay in this game with his 3 squads. Meanwhile, lots of fire going down once again. Red team losing more and more generators. Shas'el calling out that they need a team strike here. They've kind of been fighting on their own these last few engagements, and it's not been working out for them at all. Looks like a summoning circle went down right there. Oh, actually, what it is summoning some Chaos Terminators onto the field. 55 to 147, 2-0 cap against the Reds. Reds have precious little time to take back some VPs. Last chance calls Shas'el, and last chance indeed, because here comes the Thunderhawk with a big ol' Grey Knight Land Raider Crusader. And that's going to be some serious armor and firepower. He's going to have to be very careful with it. I feel like the Grey Knight Land Raiders have always been kind of ephemeral, because they just kind of always come out right in the middle of the battlefield and get obliterated shortly thereafter. But they do have some pretty virulent firepower, so long as he can keep it up. Nice use of Chains of Torment. Been seeing that used pretty effectively throughout the game, actually. Looks like the Plague Marines are about to go down, and we've got another global coming in. Wow, a Land Raider followed by an orbital bombardment. Managed to catch, looks like those Plague Marines will be going down. Banshee's kind of caught between beams there, so they're not going to take too much heavy fire. Farseer goes down as well. However, this Land Raider Crusader still taking tons of damage. Brother Captain teleports in, but he needs to get on this las cannon before this Land Raider goes down. 13 to 147. Does manage to... Oh, he doesn't manage to prevent the decap. I was about to say he's almost stopped that Sorcerer. Land Raider's going to go down, it looks like, if this Havoc fires once again. Huge oversight right there, not using the Brother Captain to focus down that Chaos Havoc squad and prevent it from capping. 147 to 4. Red team still desperately holding on right here, managing to take out the webway gates. Brother Captain falling over here on this side of the map. Avatar still running around in the middle. Wraithguard gonna go ahead and grab that point. We've got 2 squads of Kasrkins on the field, which is gonna be some very serious firepower. Looks like we have an anti-vehicle grenade going down on that Avatar, slowing it down for the time being. 141 to 4. Blue teams just need to capture that point. I can't believe the Reds actually managed to hold on still at this point in the game. Looks like those Wraithguard need to be stopped at all costs. Grenade going down, taking out one of them. Wrath of Cain going off, knocking around the Ogrins all over the place. 141 to 140. Brother Captain's back up, capping the natural VP over there. The red teams may actually be able to hold on here for the time being. Creeping Basilisk Barrage gonna prevent that Farseer from capping, and they are pulling out all the stops they possibly can. Really making a restive stand here at the end with only 4 VPs. I'd be baffled if they could bring this back, but it looks like they may just do it. It's a triple cap, and the blue team is split up for the time being. Looks like the Reds are pulling it all together for this side of the map. And man, if there was a time for a D-cannon, now would be it. He needs to be pushing off these massive infantry forces. 2 squads of Kasrkins really just preventing any of the Eldar forces from making any sort of stand at all. And now with 2 Psy cannons on the field as well, there's not going to be too much that they can do. Brother Captain getting upgraded with the Holy Armor of the Titan. Going to make a desperate last stand right here. Hopefully that comes up in time for him to activate. Let's see if it does. He teleports out. Oh, that was an odd move. 68 to 4 though, and it's still a 2-0 cap. Big Wailing Doom, huge Wailing Doom coming down right here. He's just going to stand there and take it. Gets obliterated. Wow, and I guess that was the incoming ability with those circles around the infantry right now. Prevented the knockback from that and allowed them to just continue focusing down. 48 to 4. Did manage to get a decap right there. A lone Warlock from that Dire Avenger squad. These Wraithguards need to get engaged in melee though, because they're just blasting away. Taking down huge chunks of Kasrkins and Guardsmen and Strike Squads and everything. There's a Seer Council here. It looks like the cap is going to go down. They didn't manage to knock the Farseer off. They need to stop her. They need to focus her down, but there's too much melee preventing the cap, and the game is going to go to the blue teams. Oh my goodness. What a close game. I really thought the red team was out of it, but they just about managed to bring it back right there. Looks like even if they had stopped the Farseer, Cretella had come in from the rear once again with all his Sorcerer shenanigans. Brocap was capping his natural VP there, but I think the combination of these two was probably going to be too much. They really needed to make a concerted hold right here for the time being. But wow, what a play there at the end. Really some serious Eldar Tier 3 here. And wow, look, look at that, the Avatar triumphantly with his final kill of the match right there, holding it up on high. Kaldoot really playing some nasty Eldar tonight. Once again, we see Shas'el just narrowly lose that game, unfortunately. Second time he's been on, and second time he's lost by just a hair with his ally Winkel. But still bringing the big plays in some excellent games anyways. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the game. Don't forget, we've got that live stream coming up Sunday for the one-on-one Elite Mod Tournament. Feel free to comment, subscribe, like the video. I always appreciate it. This is Red-Rupee. I'll catch you guys next time.